welcome to this week's G.I. Joe toy review, where we will be looking at a desert-themed Cobra figure in Desert Scorpion. But before we get to Desert Scorpion, let's do our shout-outs of the week. Back to the Media at 48 South Loudon Street. They moved a couple months ago, so they got a bigger location and a better location for them, because they got more room to display all their video games, which starts off with the Atari all the way up to current systems. So go ahead and check them out, and they got all points in between as well. You can get Funko Pops and comic books in all forms of videos, in DVD, VHS. Yeah, that's old school if you do VHS. But you can also get all kinds of CDs and records and whatnot from them, and cassettes. For us old heads, cassettes. But that's beside the point. But if you want to add to your collection with toys and other Funko Pops that Back to the Media does not have, you can go to Time Traveler Toys and Collectibles at 115 South Loudon Street, directly across the street in a diagonal direction, and check out Time Traveler Toys and Collectibles at 115 South Loudon Street, where you can get all kinds of toys and collectibles, as well as G.I. Joe. Unfortunately, I got him from eBay. He was actually bought for me by a close friend of mine. So, I'd like to give her a shout out, but I'm not going to mention any names. But she's the same one that actually got me the Sky Striker and the Laser Vipers and the Conquest X30 that I reviewed at the beginning of the month, or back during the summer of last year. So, thank God for that. So, but you can also go and get counseling at Healing Grace Counseling Services, which is headed by Robert C. Brown. So you can go ahead and check him out. You get marital counseling, premarital, and all forms in between. And if you need comic books, you can go to 80 Weems Lane to 4-Color Fantasies and check them out. You can get IDW, Marvel, and all points in between, DC, oldest back issues, current titles, and so on and so forth. So go ahead and check them out. And if you need any banking, you can go to Bank of Clark County if you're in the Winchester area. Check them out. They got some good banking services there. I've been with them since 2018, and so on and the like. But let's get to Desert Scorpion, starting with his file card. And it states Cobra's Desert Assault Trooper, codename Desert Scorpion. And there's a good picture of the DS, as you can see, with the Cobra logo that she's affiliated with. Nice picture right there. And it says codename Desert Scorpion. Primary name or file name is various, because he's an army builder. You can have multiples of this guy. His primary military specialty is desert terrain operations. Secondary military specialty is concealment and camouflage. Birthplace is various, because he's an army builder. And the text reads, Desert Scorpions are as harsh and unforgiving as the hot conditions in which they operate. They lie in wait until the sun and the sand have taken the fight out of their enemies, then strike with ruthless efficiency and deadly skill. Their desert climate operations gear is designed to preserve fluids, maintain body temperature, and assist in tracking even in blinding sandstorms. As conflicts in the Middle East continue to escalate, Cobra has benefited from the influx of indignant warriors already trained to fight and survive in desert conditions. They know how to maximize their resources and work together to overcome their enemies, with a zeal most soldiers do not possess. Cobra adds the frightening technology of huge, heavily armed robotic scorpions. This guy right here. And which patrol their encampments at night using infrared scanners to seek the body heat of anything foolish enough to risk a night assault. And the quote at the bottom says, He who focuses on the snake misses the scorpion. I wonder who mentioned that. But, needless to say, it's a good quote. That's actually a pretty cool quote. I actually like that. That's my opinion. But, let's look at his accessories. Starting with his figure stand. Upraised Cobra logo. Codenamed as a scorpion on the front. He's also got his little paring knife here. And his little assault rifle, gun, pistol looking thingy. Futuristic looking thing. It's kind of awful light gray. You could tell it's a toy plastic gun. And he's got his little desert backpack right here. Which this section can hold a whaling spear. Which I kind of misplaced at the moment. But it looks like the one that came with Quinn. So check my Quinn video from this past Thanksgiving and see what it's like. But it's got a little bit of extra red on it, which is a little different from Quinn's. But it's still there nonetheless. But I don't see why a desert trooper needs a whaling spear in the middle of the desert. But his other accessory, which in the vintage version was a plastic version of a real scorpion, which was used, but this one is robotic. You see with the 3 red eyes, the removable claws, and the little legs with that little electronic stinger right there, which is pretty cool. So and the tail does move. The tail can move. So can each one of the legs. So you see they can bend and twist, extend, and all that kind of good stuff. But here's Desert Scorpion. Let's look at his paint apps and color, which is a little different from the vintage version, but because the vintage version had a little cloth back here, but on this guy is plastic. He's got all kinds of browns and blacks, which is good for the desert. But I think the black would draw heat. But none of that's just all good. He's supposed to be all covered in cooling stuff anyway. But let's take a look at his articulation. His head can rotate to 360. Kind of rough, but it does happen. His arm can lift like that high. He can rotate at his elbow. He can rotate at the arm, 360. He can bend at the elbow, as well as rotate at the elbow, a full 360. His wrist can swivel a full 360. He does have the ab crunch feature, which is somewhat hindered by the web gear, but it can still happen. His legs are on a T-hook, spread about that far. Not good, really good stance. His leg can go that high. He's got the double knee joint right there at the knee. His ankle can pivot. Not very well, but it can do it. And as you can see, it can pivot. And it can rotate the full 360, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at him in his battle mode. Well, here he is in his battle gear. You know, I dropped the knife, so the knife's supposed to go in the holster, but I dropped it. I'll pick it up here after I do the video. But I wanted to show him in his gear with his scorpion right next to him. You know, this is a really cool looking cat. You know, it's a great army builder, especially that G.I. Joe had the Desert Trooper with Dusty first before the Desert Scorpion, before Cobra got theirs. But this guy, the original idea of this guy is he's supposed to be a low-level guy. He's actually supposed to be lower than the Cobra blue shirts. You know, because mainly nobody wants to be out in the desert, nor have a scorpion with him. But that's beside the point. But this is a good-looking figure. He's a very cool figure. You know, I highly suggest you get him. This would be I would consider him a top-tier army builder figure. But if you want to see the vintage version, you can catch Hooded Cobra Commander 78H channel, or you can catch FormBX257, who does a version of this cat. So go ahead and watch them. You can see Joe Fan 82 with a video, quite a few others. So go ahead and check them out. Mr. 1013 you can see, as well as quite a few other people. But this is a top-tier figure. Tune in Sunday so you can see my last Beast Wars video. And tune in next week to see my last Hot Spots video before I move into a Hot Spots video for G.I. Joe next month. And so tune in next week to see another G.I. Joe figure. But this has been the Desert Scorpion, and as for Cobra Island, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. See you in the next one.